Yes, everyone said that it's okay. We'll be recording the meeting. I will now pass the mic to Ivan, who will give us updates on Iroha 1 and talk a little bit about keys.
Hello, people. Today I will tell you about our updates on Iroha 1. We have two topics today. I have the topics today to tell. The first thing is we are preparing RocksDB key-value database, which will increase the performance of Iroha about, we expect, multiple times. And TPS, the amount of transactions per second. The last pull request is now on review. It's about command executor. And I believe next week we will measure how TPS was increased with new database. The second thing is CI, continuous integration. We are moving from Jenkins to GitLab Actions. It allows us to first show how Iroha is built on CI, because Jenkins is private, so we cannot share our Jenkins builds. And the second thing about CI, it has improved performance about 2 times. So the builds are going about 2 times faster. What we disabled support of machines S390, and we provide better tagging of Docker images. This is thing which will interesting for our customers and users who work with Iroha beta and our non-production alpha builds. You will see updates soon on Docker Hub. Every PR, every branch will have a tag, so it is easy to get features before they merged alpha versions. So that's all about CI. And the last thing I would like to tell is about encrypting keys, private keys of Iroha, admin key and nodes key. We expect that Iroha nodes are running in a secure environment. So since we have secure environment, we don't have to encrypt the keys. But if somebody wants, we can use the behavior, the flow like GPG or SSH case gives us. It's if you need to encrypt key, you can say GPG encrypt the key and then GPG decrypt. This is a simple like Git secrets work, and it's simple like a SSH case work. So we don't see any necessary to encrypt the case for Iroha. But if somebody wants, Iroha is open source, so we suppose you can at least suggest how do you expect to encrypt case if you need. That's all from me. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for listening to my updates.
Thank you for the updates and for we'll talk about the keys. Now I think we will I will ask Igor if he would like to present his updates first and then give the stage to Zoe, or how would you like to proceed with that?
Yeah, I think we can do it in this order. So yeah, today we have our intern Zoe with us. she's working on a project for Iroha 2, which is a visual blueprint-like interface for Iroha special instructions. Yeah, and I guess at first I will do a short status update right now for Iroha 2 project in general, and then maybe so we can share some mockups. So yeah, everybody welcome. Zoe. Yeah, thanks.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Hello, nice to have you with us.
Yeah, I guess then let
Can
me
you
share my
the
screen.
Is everything okay with the permissions to share the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, okay. Let me
Should
know
be
if
okay.
something's not right.
So yeah, I hope you can see it. So yeah, let me start with the status update. First with some of the completed things that we were working on. Actor framework integration is right now in the final review stage, and it's reimagining right now. So yeah, it can be considered completed, and it will improve observability for our internal actors inside of our core. In general, there are also several tooling improvements that were made during these weeks. So we introduced source-based test coverage, and as coverage is reported for our pull requests. We also fixed our Docker images submission. So yeah, right now all the Iroha 2 images are sent into the Docker Hub from Iroha 2 dev branch. So we also fixed in back on our WebSocket event stream several memory efficiency improvements in the world state view. So the storage will take less space. And public blockchain permissions, are enabled by default now for Iroha. So yeah, there can be various configurations with permissions. Yeah, but we thought this is that should be by default. So right now we have a lot of client library development in progress. Python client library development has started. iOS client library has started also a week and a half, I guess, ago. And we are making a Java client library updates. So yeah, it will be easier to generate codes there. So yeah, we're also doing some work on telemetry. So yeah, a bit more on it on the second slide. And we are right now starting to work on permissions for queries, and we are also improving our peer-to-peer network and general strategy for the consensus messages. So we are trying to maintain connections. This will improve the performance of networking a lot. With the plans, event triggers, are still planned because it's a big research topic. We are also planning to support bootstrap peers, which means that it will no longer be necessary to specify this lengthy configuration to start the peers. And then for the start, we also want to publish, we're also considering publishing telemetry to Substrate telemetry frontend. So yeah, we think that this way it's faster to start. And then we'll probably create our own frontend for this. We're also doing some research into transaction fees. Yeah, and hopefully we will publish RFC on this soon. So I think that's it from the general perspective. If you have any questions, I can answer them now.
I can just say a couple of things about, yeah, kind of for Iroha 2, why we care about things like transaction fees and publishing telemetry publicly. In the long run, we also want Iroha 2 to be useful not only in a permissioned context, but also permissionless context. So this is something that, yeah, we're kind of working towards designing, and then, this requires certain things to be added to consensus, like things like staking, for instance, and transaction fees to prevent spam on the network. But yeah, that's one of the goals that we're working towards. So I just wanted to kind of say that to kind of give some context to what's going on.
Yeah, and of course, transaction fees will be optional in this way. So we are planning to present a general mechanism for enabling them and disabling them, depending on your network configuration. Yeah, if it's a permissionless or permissioned setup that you're planning.
Okay, thank you. If we don't have any questions as of now, I think we could move to the presentation. I think that's something that was quite anticipated. So
Yes. So yeah, Zoe, please, can you share your screen and tell us a bit about your mockups?
Yeah, of course. So let me do this real quick. Can everybody see okay?
yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was kind of the first rough sketch out that I did of the interface. I was largely kind of inspired by the Blockly interface by Google, just because what we're trying to accomplish here seemed similar. So all of the building blocks ultimately will translate to code over here on the right side. So the idea is that all of the instructions are going to be organized by category. And once you click on the category in the instruction side, then there will be a menu that opens up on the side that contains the blocks that you will then be able to drag into the workbench and chain together. And then the resulting code will show up over here on the right. And then ultimately, we'd like to have an option to save that code or load an existing project. So that was kind of my initial thought process on that. Here is an example of what I envision the blocks to look like. So this is just kind of a simple variable declaration. So creating an asset, you'll have a drop down here that will have all of the different variables that you would be able to create. And then an input box here where you can name the variable. And then here's an example of a mint burn block, so that you would have this first drop down be either mint or burn. An input box that would be the amount to be minted or burned. This would not be a drop down. This would actually be dependent on whether it's minting or burning, the to or the from. And then the drop down 3 would be any declared assets that you had there. So this was just kind of my initial idea for what I wanted the blocks to look like. So then I used Figma to create a couple more visual prototypes of what I envision the interface to look like. So this is over here is the instruction space. These are the blocks in the middle here. You would have an area where you would be able to clear all of the blocks or little X's so that you could clear individual blocks if you decided that you didn't want those anymore. And of course, these could be dragged and dropped to be rearranged. Hopefully, the goal is to have some sort of verifying feature as well. So if there's, for instance, a certain order of instructions that doesn't make sense syntactically, there would be like an error message or something that would show up to alert the user that that's an invalid selection. And then this is kind of just a visualization of when you would click the instruction group. There would be a side menu that would pop up, and then they would have all of the different kinds of blocks that you could use that would fall within that category. So that's about all I have in terms of just like this little presentation of what I was thinking. And of course, if anybody has any feedback or any like additional ideas that they would potentially like to see within this interface, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love your feedback. So that's all I have.
Thank you. It's really cool. Every time I tried Scratch, I was like, this should be used in real world applications. So yeah, I'm happy that it's like that these days. So thank you very much. It's really great. Also,
Thank you.
just in case, I will post the links to the Figma project. It's public now, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, amazing. So I will create a page on Wiki with all the links and with the recording of this video. So yeah, I think that now we have some time for questions. And yeah, does anyone have any questions?
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to raise my hand or not. I have some questions.
Sure.
First, like, are you going to be able to execute from this interface? And if so, like, have you thought about where to put like your private key or what interface to manage this?
The hope is to get there. According to the project page, that's an optional piece. So that'll be kind of the like some of the more final pieces of it's just a little bit farther down the line. And I think I might need to ask some clarifying questions as to exactly how to execute that. So I'm not quite sure where I'd put that just yet.
Okay, and I was wondering, yeah, so like this design's very interesting, and as part of the internship, is it planned to actually implement this in code?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. This is currently being implemented in code. Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about the technologies that you're planning to use, like, for example, something like Vue.js, or like what's the technology stack you're looking at?
So I'm currently thinking about building this as a React app. So I'll be using largely JavaScript. I've been looking at some kind of like drag and drop packages, and kind of one of the more challenging elements to me will largely be that drag and drop piece, just because I haven't done anything like that before. I'm also thinking that the loading aspect will be interesting as well, considering that once you load the project, the idea is to have all of the corresponding blocks be loaded in the workbench as well, so that you can jump right into being able to modify that. But that's about as far as I've gotten in terms of considering packages and technologies I'll be using.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for the questions, for being here. And if we don't have any more questions, I think that we can wrap up this meeting, and I will upload the recording and the links to Figma to Wiki. And yeah.
Excuse me, I would have some question about Iroha 1, but maybe it doesn't have to be recorded.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me stop the recording then.